Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. Our first one comes from drawing the... Would I be the beehole if I, a 21-year-old female, pulled a prank on my soon-to-be husband, a 21-year-old male, on our wedding day? Alrighty, a few things to get out of the way. My fiance and I are, as stated, with him being a 21-year-old male and I being a 21-year-old female. Yes, I'm aware we're very young, but that's not why I'm here today. We've talked about couples counseling, and we'll be getting married in April 20th of this year, 50 days and counting. So me and my fiance are Austin Powers fans. Movies are some of our go-to when we're looking for a good laugh. I'm a bit more of a fan as I listen to the soundtracks somewhat frequently while I'm cleaning or drawing. Some of you might be aware of the franchise, some not. So, our song we've chosen for our first dance is Just the Two of Us. The song means a lot to us and is perfect for us in our dance. If you're well in tuned with the Austin Powers soundtrack as I am, you already know the Dr. Evil mixtape version of the song. Now, I've made jokes about switching our first song with that version, and he said he doesn't want it to be our first dance, but said it would be funny, just not for the first. I was speaking to his mother on our way back from my last alteration appointment for my wedding dress, and she asked about the first dance and if we picked a song. I told her yes and what we had decided. I told her about the jokes, and I had made it him about him switching it out when the idea came to me, so I asked her, "Hey, mother-in-law," not using her real name, "what if," and hear me out, I played a small prank on fiance, again, name, during our first dance. She looked over at me and raised an eyebrow and asked what I had in mind. I then proceeded to explain my thought of conspiring with his best man about either starting our first song until Dr. Evil goes, "Yeah," just long enough for him to realize and go whoops and play the right one, or mashing the songs together so it's at a random point. She said she thought he'd find it funny, and I asked his friend last night, and the friend agreed. Insert, I'm not talking about the whole song, just 5 to 7, maybe 8 seconds of it, just enough to catch him, but not enough to ruin the moment. However, I know this sort of thing can be considered rude and nasty. We prank each other all the time and enjoy it. However, as a chronic overthinker, I want to get unbiased opinions. So what do you think? Would I be a bee to prank my soon-to-be husband on our wedding day? I apologize for the format. I am on mobile. TLDR, I want to pull a small prank on my husband. To be by swapping the music of our first song with Dr. Evil's version for a little bit before having an actual song play. Would I be the beehole if I did? Edit. Holy shite, I didn't expect to get effing ripped apart, but thanks for that. I won't be considering it anymore, and I thought it'd be harmless fun as everyone in our lives figured he'd get a good laugh from it. Thanks again for making me realize how dumb this could have been, and not something to laugh about later. Holy shite, okay, I understand not everyone believed that this is fine. You don't have to. Why? Because I know the truth. Why was the update quick after the determined sample is lunchtime? He came home and I told him what was in the update. You don't have to believe it. Hell, you ain't gotta interact. Alright, before we get into the update, I'm gonna just tell you what I think based on what I've read. Since he said not to do it, and if you did it, I would say that makes you the... I don't even want to call you the beehole, because if it was me, I would get a kick out of it. Hell, my sister would get a kick out of it, because we grew up watching all the Austin Power movies and Kung Pao. We watched those tapes until they stopped, functioning. And I would have loved it and laughed my arse off and sang along with it, because sometimes we do still quote that movie years later. But since he said not to do it, and then if you did it, yeah, that would make you the beehole, but I'll be honest with you, I would still want to do it, especially since you want to do it for just like, a couple seconds is not the whole song. Personally, if that were me, I'd be bummed out if it wasn't the whole Dr. Evil version of the song. Another song like that too is from Step Brothers. I forgot what to call it. I think it's like a 50s the Candy Shop. That guy sings the Candy Shop for the Catalina wine mixer, and he kills it. I love his version of the song. But then when you go try to find it online, he does the cover's different. Like, he doesn't put as much oomph into it, and he doesn't hit those notes as hard as he does in the movie, which sucks. So yeah, personally, I would love it, and that would be a great memory for my wedding, day. But if he said not, if he said not to do it, don't do it. But you know what? Let's see what happens in the update. Update. He came home from lunch, and I explained to him what I and his close friends and family were planning on doing, and told him about my hesitation and showed him my post. I was right. He said it's the perfect addition to our day, and said he doesn't understand why people are so negative about a small, not even 10-second clip in a song. He said it would be funny. He asked if I would still do it, as it would be something fun to tell the future relatives or people asking about the wedding. Thanks for those who saw this, it would actually be nice side, and those of you who told me I was a beehole. If you all hadn't absolutely butchered me in the comments, I probably would have just not nor done or said anything about it. There will be those who think this is false, and okay, off you go if that's your cup of tea. I'll be sitting at home with my cats, awaiting my fiance to come home from work, since today I'm off sick. Well, alright. I'm glad you got that sorted out, because like I said, I would have loved it, and I'm glad he's okay with it. And, Reddit in their own kind of effed up way helped you. Kind of. I mean, they tore you apart, but it ended happily? Yeah. Please enjoy your life, and I hope you have a lovely wedding. And our next one comes from NoSet5822. Would I be the beehole if I didn't let my daughter, age 15, go to Orlando even though she paid for it? My daughter, Ella, is 15. When she started high school last year, we were told the band was on this field trip to Orlando. Of course, the trip was expensive. Since Ella is growing up, my husband and I decided if she wanted to go, she would have to pay for half of the costs. Ella agreed, and she started spending weekends or teacher work days on holidays babysitting her siblings, a 5-year-old male and a 9-year-old female, for $22 an hour. Oh my god, that's good. Either my husband or I would stay home and make sure everything was alright. And if there were times the both of us had to be out of the house, we'd make sure to ask our neighbors to keep an eye out and pay Ella $25 an hour. We were never gone for more than 2 hours with babysitting, some family members graciously providing her with money to help her out, cleaning, and some money she already had saved. Ella was able to make a good amount of money, which we were proud of her for, and made sure to voice this to her. Ella was able to make enough money quickly, so we were planning on signing her up for the trip. But earlier this week, I was informed that Ella had been mistreating a girl in her grade for having a mental illness, writing awful notes and putting them in the girl's bag, spreading disgusting and derogatory rumors, posting things about her online. It's a whole mess, and when I was called in, I could barely even listen to the moment after I was told my daughter was bullying someone. I thought I had raised her right, told her to treat everyone with respect and kindness. I've never even seen any sort of signs of behavior that would ever indicate that Ella thought badly of others, and now after 15 years, I'm told she fat-shamed a little 14-year-old girl, her excuse being that someone with an illness shouldn't be allowed to get a higher test score than her. Ooh. Ella was given a suspension, but it's very short. The school's motto is that they don't tolerate bullying at all, yet it feels as if she was only given a slap on the wrist and told not to do it again. It also feels wrong that I'm thinking this way, but I do think that there should be more done. The girl Ella had been bullying is also in the band, and I'm pretty sure she'll be going to Orlando. Would it be wrong if I didn't allow Ella to go on the trip? She paid for half the trip, but I don't think she deserves to go. I can't think of any other way to punish her. She loves to read and isn't on her phone often. She has a good amount of friends, but doesn't hang out with them often. What am I supposed to do? Take away her books and make her hang out with her friends more? Yeah, I think the trip is a good lesson, but my husband and good friend of mine don't agree with the decision, the reasoning being that Ella worked for that money. I understand what they mean, which is why of course I'll let Ella keep what she earned, just not let her go on that trip. I don't want that girl to have the possibility of being bullied again. Would I be the beehole? Okay, this one's a tough one, because I don't believe just because someone has a mental illness, they can be a prick. You know what I mean? There are people who have mental illnesses and lovely to be around. So, I don't know if it's the full story, because like you said, your daughter hasn't been showing signs, but I don't know, kids can be cruel, and we know how to hide, kids knew how to hide things growing up. I know I did. She probably is different in school. I don't know. But if you believe that she really has done this, then yeah, I believe that, yeah, you're going to have to punish her this way. Which, she likes to read books. She doesn't hang out with kids. I don't know. But okay, let's go with, yeah, she did this. Then yeah, you'd have to punish her this way. And I believe the way you handled it is the best way to do it. She still gets to keep the money she worked for, but her actions do have consequences, and you gotta raise people right, and it's not right to make fun of someone, especially if they've done nothing to you. From what it sounds like, she just went after the girl because she got a higher grade than her. Like, oh well, study harder, get a better grade, you know? So, OP, I'm gonna go with you're not the beehole, especially since you're still gonna let her keep the money she worked for. And I do believe that what you're doing is the right course of actions. It sucks, but she needs to learn her lesson and to stop being a terrible person. And our final one comes from JHW7753. Am I the beehole for telling my childhood friend he's heading for 400 pounds? My friend James and I, both a 42-year-old male, have known each other since the third grade. He's always been a bigger guy. I have always been a little bit leaner, but until recent. In our late 30s, I put on about 40 pounds, to now be around 270 pounds. James put on weight as well, as in the 325 range. Ooh, that's bad. We're both taller guys, but still too heavy for either of us. Over the years, we've both tried dieting in different forms, as both of our wives are supportive and would like to join us and lose weight as well. After watching a few "where does your meat come from" type of documentaries, not preaching, I promise, my wife and I decided to try switching to plant-based diet. We are not vegan, we still eat cheese sparingly, and skim milk on occasion, but neither of us has eaten meat whatsoever in 8 weeks, and I'm down 31 pounds. My wife is down almost 24 pounds. So I see my buddy about a month ago, and that was when I was down about 10 to 15 pounds. He says I look great, and what am I doing differently? I tell him we're trying a plant-based diet, and before I could get too deep into any explanation, he kinda cuts me short, laughs and says it's all BS, and don't start bragging around his wife as he'll never give up meat. Okay, terrific. I wasn't planning to, and you asked me. I didn't even bring it up right now. But we leave it there. Last night, we're all at another friend's house for dinner, and he drinks, and our host mentions my wife and I look terrific, and my wife brings up what we're doing, despite it being received positively by everyone else, with well wishes. My buddy gets all pissed off and starts openly announcing eating meat is vital necessary to everyone's diet, starts calling me a soy boy, and looks at his wife and says don't even consider it, it's never happening. He tells everyone the only reason we're losing weight is because we're clearly starving ourselves, and anyone can get the same results on any diet, doing the same, which my reply was, we've tried other diets without results. You know this. Maybe if you pulled your head out of your arse for a minute, you see that I'm not trying to recruit you for anything. And your facts are wrong. There are entire regions of the world that don't eat any meat/dairy, and all the much healthier than Americans as a whole. But by all means, keep on a heavy carb red meat diet and let us know when you hit 400. This was a frustrating event because I don't initiate this conversation with everyone for fear of exactly of this happening. Eating meat or not eating meat triggers something in people. Regardless, my friend went to the bathroom a couple minutes later and excused himself, and he and his wife left. The dinner was fine after. The other couples all felt like he attacked us unprovoked, but he has a longtime friend, and I'm 100% confident our friendship will survive this. But I still need to know if I apologize for my half of the incident, regardless of what was said in his half. Was I the beehole for how I handled it? Hi, OP. This is coming from someone who was a big boy growing up and lost a lot of the weight, and who loves meat and will never stop eating meat. But I also do like my veg, and I have enjoyed a few vegan things. Their chocolate chip cookies are not bad. The mashed potatoes garbage though. But I'm gonna say you're not the beehole, cause in both times you were asked. You didn't stand up and start preaching and saying, "Oh, all of you eat meat, meat is murder," and started throwing blood on everyone. You know what I mean? You were asked a question, you told people what you're doing. Personally, my diet is I do intermediate fasting. I eat like one meal a day. It's a pretty big meal, and I'm good for the rest of the time. And my weight stays pretty much at the same number, which I'm fine with because I'm trying to turn that mass into muscle, which is slowly happening. Like I can flex now and I can feel my skin tightening. It's quite nice. Sorry to wander off like that. But like I said, OP, no, you're not the beehole. If you came at him and said, "Oh, stop eating meat, blah, 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 blah," then yeah, you'd be the beehole. But he asked you the first time and they noticed your weight loss at the party and they wanted to know what was going on. I would do the same thing. Hey, you were big and now you're getting skinny. What are you doing? That's pretty crazy. Please tell me about it. So I think why your friend is so butthurt is because he's getting fat. He's seeing you succeed, and he's getting jealous of that. And even if he does it, he can still lose weight by not, and still eat meat. Just eat less of it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying do what I do, one meal a day, but just eat less and move. You gotta do some cardio. I take a walk. I'll run sometimes, and I weightlift. It's not that hard to keep yourself under control. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't know how to practice self-control, I guess. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. You can keep your weight under control and eat what you want to eat. But OP, you're not the beehole. You didn't force anything on anyone, and you didn't start preaching at anyone. You were asked a question and you gave an answer. So no, you're not the beehole. Your friend is the beehole for losing his mind over that, but I do think he's because he's jealous. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.